I'm going to say I'm vibrating. I am absolutely dazzled by you and your community. And I want to say I feel so at home. I mean, I've been to Unity communities, all around the country and some out of country, and it is rare to find a community with the level of thriving that I'm experiencing here. You have children. I'm so happy. And they have a message. They have a message. I mean, this when I was looking for my first church, that was one of my visions. I was sharing that with the women in the retreat. It was one of my visions. I wanted a community where children are seen and heard and bring their own message, not that they just get up there and act, right, and play act once in a while. I love you and your community. I'm so very grateful to have been invited to share a message this morning with you. So I'll get to it because I could just stand here and gush. Oh my. This takes me back to my very first Sunday in a Unity community where I walked into Unity of Omaha. Back in, it was in the 80s, the mid 80s. I remember the message, there's only one presence and one power. And that power is within you. Maybe you did this too, but I wept. I sat and cried. I had just been married just a handful of years before then to my husband after leaving Kripalu Ashram, where I had been residing for 3 years. And the predominant message there that I got was the Guru is within. So here I am hearing that message again. I'm like, that's truth. That's truth. It blew me away because I knew when I was looking for spiritual community, I couldn't go back to the Catholicism of my childhood because I had graduated from that way of thinking, And so to experience a community that was a bridge for me from east to west so my children could be raised in a consciousness that Unity presents was so important to me. And I want you to tune into when you first started to get that message and internalize the message. There's only one power, and it is within me. Do you remember it? Do you remember it? Was it different from the message that you were brought up on? It was radically different for most of us, right? And so here's where I find myself when I think the subject is healing today. We're getting there. The subject is healing. And the awareness that I have is that we humans have some real challenges with healing. And when we get a spiritual message like Unity, it makes a difference. It makes it easier for us to navigate the challenging times in life, right? That's really important. And so Unity has been, foundational and I think instructive for me to be able to hold myself more gently during times when I'm going through human conditions. How about you? But here's what I also find is that the conditioning from childhood still is in there. Do you hear it once in a while? And when does it come up? During times of strain. It comes up during times when we're going through stuff, right? I had a beloved member of my community in San Antonio. She'd been in that community for like 30 years. And when she got ill and was given a terminal diagnosis, she went back to a priest because she was afraid that the messaging that she had was real, and that if she didn't, that she might not go to heaven, right? Think about that. Yeah. It reminds me that, I've been in Unity long enough now to remember the messaging that came along. I was concerned in the early years because Unity wasn't talking about the physicality of us all that much back then. The messaging sort of was, the body's lesser than, You hear the message, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. To me, where's the body? Where's the human in that? It's kind of, I'm a spiritual being. Let's not worry about the human so much, right? That was what I take from it. And that was actually what I lived in the message, and it was discordant for me coming from a yoga experience where an embodied living was important, right? And I'm grappling with this distinction. And in those earlier days in Unity, hopefully not so much today, the message was, and I hear people even still, a coaching client of mine came to me and said, I had to stop going to my Unity church because when I walked in and people asked me, how are you? And I told them, they said, oh, you shouldn't think that way. Or like, what was happening in your consciousness to create that? You know, metaphysical malpractice, can we say that out loud, right? I'm so glad that that's not happening as much anymore. But this is what so many of us come from and what we were trained in. Even in ministry, I was trained in this, right? And to me, what a disservice to discard our humanity. Because like it or not, we're human. I mean, like it or not, I'm walking around in a human form. How about you? And I need that humanity. I mean, it's important. When I'm talking about slaying the ego, no, don't you dare slay your ego. Your ego's here in service to all that you are, isn't it? I mean, don't discard. I need an ego to stand right here and do what I'm doing, right? Oh, I'm on my soapbox. I can feel it. Yeah. This is so important to me, friends, because I have grappled with this in the discipline of Unity, and I've grappled with it in my own life. And as I'm experiencing some of the effects of the aging process and experiencing like new things happening in my physical body that weren't there before, and, you know, having to deal with conditions, human conditions. I'm like you, like everybody else. There's something up for healing. So think about what's up for healing for you right now. It could be something physical, it could be a medical thing, but it also could be, you know, a financial hardship that's causing you to have to really heal a plenty consciousness, is my word for it, right? Maybe it's a relationship strain, and the healing is about coming back into harmony with another human being. Whatever it is, anything that is unfinished, unwanted, we wish it would be different, is something that's up for healing. So a question is, like, how do we heal? What is this thing? What is healing? And I tell you, so much healing is talked about in terms of magical thinking. Magical thinking, you know, if I pray hard enough, God will just take care of it, right? Those thoughts. How does that square with there's only one power, and I can't be outside of that power, and so where's the power to act? Oh, where I am. Oh, that's me humanly showing up. It's me humanly doing something with that power. You see, embodying my divine identity, not just speaking about it. It's not happening out here. And I know it sounds blasphemous to ears outside of this community, and maybe to some of you. I'm just gonna say it. God does not heal. Oh, that's radical. I heal. I heal when I take hold of the principle of wholeness. I heal when I claim the principle of abundance. I heal when, you hear me? I heal when I take hold of any one of my spiritual capacities, which is the divinity that I am. It's not coming to me. It's not happening through me. I'm not a hollow flute. I'm an embodied human with a capacity that goes hand in hand with my humanity. Are you with me? And so what it means for me is this. I'm going to draw you the image of it because it's my reminder. See the infinity symbol here that I'm drawing? The figure 8. This is my reminder. I am 100% human. I'm 100% human. And boy, I better be humanly focused at times in my life, right? I remember being behind the wheel of a car after a yoga class where I was going home from the class, chanting Hare Krishna the whole way. I was so high, I ran right into a telephone pole. I mean, because I wasn't there. My humanity wasn't doing the work. I was tripping out, right? I was meditating. Don't meditate behind the wheel of the car. Just don't. Holy cow. I learned. So being fully focused is important. I mean, I need my humanity in order to do things. How about you? It's important. And at the same time that I'm 100% human, I am 100% divine or spiritual. And it's an unbroken connection. Do you see that? There's no break. You're not pieces and parts. You're not Kentucky Fried Chicken. You're not. You're one wholeness. This is what it means to be whole, is I am all of that. I am human and divine all at once. And this is so important for healing because my humanity invites my divinity, my spiritual nature, to just lead the way. And nothing of that is happening out there. Myrtle Fillmore said, there's no out there to pray to. She's like, who are you praying to? She says, tell the truth to your body and to your body of affairs. Right? So right here, it's all happening here. And this is a problem for us humanly because we've been given a message that only God is divine. I mean, this is our culture. It might not be your individual belief, but we better believe that that messaging has gotten in here. From a very young age, we were given that message of unworthiness, insufficiency, right? And that idea that we need a redeemer. And whether or not that's still active in your consciousness, there's times when it might just creep in there. But it's something that we don't have to subscribe to any longer. And we can challenge that idea when it sort of arises in our mind and we start to feel ourselves weak and unable. Because, friends, there's just nothing unable about you. There's nothing in this spirit that you are. This is infinity, an infinity of power, of strength, of faith, of life, of all that you could possibly need for your life. It's right here, right here. And so the key is to devote some time to that, that's all. It's like to turn my mind from it. I don't know what happens with you, but when my body doesn't feel good, my energy is right here. Like, it's so demanding. Physical things are so demanding, are they not? It's like they want all the attention. It's like, pay attention to me, And so the key, my daughter Alicia, who's a Unity kid, she was one of these little guys at one time. She's 42 today. She co-authored this book, This Life Is Yours, with me, and this is a book for times of healing. It's a reminder that wholeness is innate, and it is true. It's the truth about us, right? And she has her share of issues, too. She has some very complex autoimmune conditions. She's neurodivergent. She has all kinds of uniquenesses in her life that she's grown into a place where she recognizes today that she's never been powerless, even in the midst of the things that she has to accommodate. Do you find that? You have to accommodate your physical conditions sometimes. I mean, they're there. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to just ignore them, does it? It doesn't help anything to ignore them. That was the old messaging, right? Oh, don't talk about that. Just talk about light and love. We call that spiritual bypass, right? Let's just jump right to a spiritual remedy, right? Now, spiritual remedy is the point, right? But the spiritual remedy is my consciousness aware that I am divine, that I am never, ever, because of that, I am never helpless. And that means that if I have a condition, no matter what the doctors say, I don't have to label it, I don't have to define it, I don't have to say it's there forever, I don't have to get into the human constructs about that, but I have to deal with my condition, do I not? I mean, I've got to follow a medical protocol if that's important, or I've got to, change my habits a little bit to accommodate the shift in the way things are. That's all doable. But to know at the same time that I have this wealth of this limitless well of power, that at any moment I can just tip my awareness to that aspect of being. Just follow the infinity sign over here, right? And this is why you come here, I bet. You come here to be fortified spiritually so that you can attend to your humanity, right? We fortify ourselves with the knowledge of the power that's within us to be able to make the choices that we need for our human circumstances in a way that we don't separate ourselves out. We don't consider that something's wrong. The theme in our book is nothing could be missing, wrong, or broken about you. Nothing. It sure might feel like it humanly, but human feelings are valuable because they tell us what's important to us. Do you know? I mean, you don't feel something for nothing. If you don't care about it, you don't really have any feelings about it, right? What you care about, you feel. And so to honor your human feelings is so essential for healing. Because you can have your tantrum, right? You can have your tantrum. I love a good tantrum. I love a good snarky thought too. I love it. I do this, and I know it's a perfectly human thing to do, and I'm like, I'm standing in my humanity, darn it, like that. And it's what it is just the release of all that energy, right? That's what it is. Like the women yesterday at the closing circle, I couldn't control them at all. They went wild. We introduced yarn and beach balls, and they went wild. We had so much fun, right? But that, to be perfectly humanly expressing, is just a beautiful thing. It's a gift of your individuality. At the same time, you're leaning into and turning your mind to this wealth of capacity that's always been there, right? When we get to this thought that I can't do it, I don't have it. I remember Sunday mornings when I was doing church every single Sunday in San Antonio, and if I didn't sleep on Saturday night, and it's usually because that message was working on me in the middle of the night, darn it. But I would wake up thinking, how am I going to get through 2 services we had at that time too? How am I going to get through this day? And I'm like, let me remember. That's my humanity saying, worry, 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 worry. And all the while it's like, but wait, I don't have to rely on my own physical vitality. Here's the infinity of vitality. I just have to tap into that and bring that forward. And isn't it funny that the congregation would say, that was your best message ever? Because I was so willing to be bigger than this one human condition. So it's not like I deny the condition, because I'd say at the end of the service, you know what, nothing is going to be more wonderful than my Sunday afternoon nap. I can hardly wait to get home, right? So that too, we can be human. But to take care of my human spiritually, that's the point of spiritual practice, is it not? And so in our book, Alicia and I, we have a whole alphabet of spiritual practices that you can try, different things, 15 minutes a day, 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, faithfully every day, taking the time to focus spiritually on well-being, on I am whole and well in some way, with some practice that interrupts the human experience just long enough to get that greater, more expansive message about what I am that fortifies me so that I can then take care of my human experience in a more healthy and whole way. Does this make sense to you? it's so simple that it sounds like, well, you guys, I know you know this, but this is to reinforce that idea. The spiritual practice is very valuable, and especially when we most need it. I can think of the times, maybe you can too, when spiritual practice was the lifeline for me for things that I couldn't control, right? Human conditions. When my son went to Iraq and I was terrified, just terrified, along with all the other moms and dads and people, right? And I look back on those days, I think that was the deepest spiritual practice I had in my life because I needed it to live. I needed it to stay on the side of hope, right? On the side of championing him and his life, right? So you know how important this practice is. So this is just maybe I like to think of Myrtle Fillmore. My image of Myrtle is kicking me in the butt. That's an awful image, I know, but because she was such a powerhouse, and Myrtle would say to people, you know this, go do it. That's what I'm seeing her like kicking me, like, go do it, right? Right, Myrtle. So, take it up. And this reminds me of the final thought, maybe the final thought. Jesus, think about Jesus standing in a moment of someone's need for healing. I mean, we know these stories, we don't know what's factual, what's not. Aside from all of that, imagine this story of Jesus, standing and talking to people, and there's a man laying on a pallet on the ground, and he's been there for a long time, hoping somebody would heal him. And he cries out, Jesus, heal me. And Jesus looks at him and says, so you want to be healed? And look, there's no place in the scripture where it says Jesus healed, or of Jesus saying, let me heal you. There's no account of that. He knew it wasn't him doing anything. But what Jesus did know, I am a divine human. I mean, he was fully present humanly, right? Obviously, fully present humanly. He was operating from the feeding. He was being fed by his ID, his spiritual ID, knowing spiritual authority, because I am that, right? And so he says to this guy, well, take up that bed and walk. That's all he said. Take up that bed and walk. Now think about that. I've pondered this for a long time. And what I've come to internalize about that idea, that bed, that pallet, look, think about your bed. I love my bed. I love getting under those covers. It's cozy. I can let down my hair. Yeah, my hair. I let it down. I can, I just, no outward facing face, right? I'm just relax, right? Just be humanly. Get the benefit of that rest. And Jesus says, take up that bed and walk. I have this image of that man tucking his roll up, because his roll, what was it, a bedroll? Bedroll. I slept on a bedroll in the ashram, in a barn on straw. Yeah, I slept on a barn. So I have that image of this guy rolling up his bedroll, tucking it under his arm and going on his way. This is the message of, you're human. Don't leave your human out. Don't leave your humanity out of your healing. Don't ignore your humanity. Enfold it in spiritual understanding and your spiritual power, and let the whole you walk through your human experience. Are you with me? And does this message maybe support you in some little way? You are divine human. Be all that you are, especially in times of healing. I'm so grateful for your attention and for this beautiful connection. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.